Hi, I'm David Thomas. I'm the Director of Industry Research at Bio. Welcome to the 2013 Bio Buzz Center at the International Convention. I'm here with Anthony Raeside from Evaluate Pharma, who's here to talk to us about a new report they put out today called the Orphan Drug Report. So Anthony, to start off, what was the primary objective of this report that you put out today?
The Orphan Drug Report is in response to client requests over the years for a fact-based report on the orphan drug market. So the report includes analysis on the orphan drug sales based on Evaluate Pharma's consensus approach. We also have looked at company rankings and product rankings and approvals and designations in the orphan drug space.
Excellent. What were some of the key findings, the key takeaways at the top line from the report?
The key findings is really the actual size of the orphan drug market. The primary objective was to actually calculate the size of the market. So we have estimated the size in 2012 to be $86 billion, and it's forecast to grow to $127 billion in 2018. And that's an annual growth rate of 7.4%, which is double the overall prescription growth rate of around 3.7 per year.
Impressive. In terms of other findings, did you take a look at the difference in maybe R&D costs or time to market for these types of drugs?
Yeah, for the report, we looked at all products entering phase 3 trials since the 1st of January 2000. So we looked at about 800 products, and we split them between orphan and non-orphan drugs and looked at the length of the phase 3 trials from entering phase 3 to the filing with the FDA. And we found that orphan drugs and non-orphans came actually to have the same development time at 2.75 years. With the FDA approval process, we found that orphan drugs were slightly quicker at 9 months versus 10 months to non-orphan drugs.
Many of the blockbuster drugs have multiple indications that generate the top line sales. So how did you go about defining an orphan drug when in fact some of the drugs aren't initially orphan designations and they have sales growth, and then there's an add-on indication later on?
Yeah. So the main difficulty with compiling the report was actually determining what was an orphan drug. A lot of blockbusters actually have orphan indications. So products like Remicade and Humira, not seem to be orphan drugs, actually have orphan indications for, say, juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. So we came up with an exclusion criteria that if a product's sales were less than 25% coming from orphan indications, we'd actually exclude those from the analysis. So we've come up with a clean set of orphan products for the purpose of this report, to come up with a clean market total of the entire size of the orphan drug market.
So when you do this, what companies do you see as the leaders if you look 5 years out?
Okay, 5 years out, we're seeing Novartis still being #1 in orphan drugs. They're very strong franchise with the Gleevec in chronic myeloid leukemia. We're then seeing Roche and Celgene close second and third. We're also finding the majors are really marching up the ranking tables. We have Bristol Myers, Glaxo, Sanofi, all marching up the leader table in orphan drugs. It's not specific just to biotech companies. It's really a big pharma industry now.
Interesting. And within that group of companies, and even maybe adding in some of the biotechs, what are some of the top drugs that are predicted to have maybe the highest revenue in 5 years out from your estimates that you use?
Okay. So in terms of the top products, in terms of marketed products, we're seeing Rituxan still being the #1 product in 2018, which is a Roche product selling around $7 billion. We're finding in terms of R&D products coming through, the biggest pure orphan product is Elotuzumab, which is an AbbVie Bristol Myers product for multiple myeloma. It's potentially the first monoclonal antibody for that indication. And that's forecast based on Evaluate Pharma's consensus forecast to have sales of around $500 million in 2018.
Excellent. In terms of the cost analysis, where does that lie?
Yeah, we looked. One of the most interesting parts of the report was our analysis of the R&D costs, and the majority of R&D costs is centered around the phase 3 trial costs. So we looked at all the phase 3 products going into phase 3 development from the 1st of January 2000. And we found that orphan drugs, on average, cost a half that of non-orphans. And the interesting thing with orphan products is that you can also, in the US, get a tax rebate of 50% on your clinical development costs. So that potentially can reduce your cost to a quarter of that of a non-orphan product. So the shift by Big Pharma into the orphan space is in part looking to improve R&D productivity, and the fact that orphan products can get to the market with less trial patients, so on average 500 patients versus over 2,200 for a non-orphan, is a big draw for Big Pharma to invest money, because they can get a lot more products to the marketplace for a lot less dollars.
Great. I imagine there are a lot of other numbers in the report, so where do the viewers go to find this, a copy of the report?
So the Orphan Drug Report you can download from Evaluate Group website, and it's a complimentary report. You can download it freely from the website.
Excellent. And thank you very much for viewing this video interview at the BioBuzz Center at the Chicago International Convention 2013.